Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to bring to you QuestWatch. So Lua, run QuestWatch. Alright, brings up this nice little window. Move this window over and we'll give it some size here for a bit. So currently, we have Omens of War quests. We can filter, say I'm looking for, I don't know, we'll pick something branch. Let's find anything that's got branch. Oh, there it is. I need it for that wrist quest. But this is currently showing my class or plate armor. If I looked at cloth, I'll take branch out of there. Here's the cloth armor. If we looked at chain, we can pull up chain armor. These aren't sorted. These are sorted by armor type, because it's just how the quests are sorted. So it's not by class. So if I did cleric, we're not going to find it. But if we did plate, we would. And then there's options to add quest data, which brings up this other window. We pick the category. We'll just throw test quest in here. In fact, we can go over here, and if I go to classic, refresh, there's no data in there. So let's go back to this guy. Put this in here, slot arms, plate, just because I could do Shadow Knight or all works. We'll do all, because then all users will see it. We'll add a few items to this. So tacos, we want 34. Yay, Taco Bell. We'll add another one. So we'll keep it with theme. Nachos, Supreme, drive-through. And this is just extra info as to like where it came from. We can delete one of these if we want to before we hit submit. Once we hit submit, it's now in here. Tacos. You got a Nacho Supreme. You need one. You need 34 tacos. And it goes in your arm. Now, we also have an option over here where we can import. If I look in my resources folder, I've already created an import file while testing. But we can go open up this import file, it's whatever you want to name it. Let's go back to here, import, it's named import. You don't have to add the .lua, but you can. It'll do it either way. So now when we import, we clear this out, we have refresh data. Hey, we've got JBoots in there, we've got some Bellius quests in there. They weren't there before. We can hit export, and that's going to export this to your resources, and it's QuestWatch export. That would be this file here. You can open that up in a viewer and see that it exported it out into a Lua file so that other people can import it in. Now, the beauty of all this, let me rerun this. You can tell all of my other goobers to run it. And I can click it. Show actors, brings up this window. It's the same filters. I want to look at, I'm doing Omens quest here. Let's see who's got what. Hey, Grimpokes has got one of them completed. Almost got other ones completed. So that's kind of nice. You can keep track of all your other characters. You can add quests. You can export your database. You can import other people's databases. So that'll help us build this out as we go. And I'll refine some of the column names. Originally, I was calling them tiers, but in like classic, I actually threw quest names in there. If I did EC and refresh, well, there's Rod of Insidious Glamour. So that quest is named in there. The tier is kind of iffy. I'm going to add tier quest name. The columns are already in the database. I just haven't fleshed them out all the way. So it's still work in progress. And yeah, that's currently QuestWatch. Ciao. Oh, one more thing. This doesn't really apply to quests that show up in like your task HUD. We don't really need to add those because they show up in your task watch. This is more for the stuff that doesn't, like your EMU users or your classic earlier expansion quests. So that's mostly the goal of this. And then This just minimizes to the button. And like I said, button, I'm in a raid, so I can open it for all the raid or everybody across all of DanNet. This only appears if you have DanNet running. If I wasn't in a raid and I was just in a group, it would be start my group and it would just send it to your group. Yeah. Ciao.